start with programming updates?
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. So some of the things I wanted to highlight have already happened and have already started. So there's a few programs that we have on our horizon. I know a few of our board members have attended, but on the 31st at noon, we hosted our sort of inaugural New Year's Eve program. I had about 50 seniors that were present. We provided lunch, handful of activities. Really well received. Everybody was really appreciative. We had a few raffles. Partnered with the Tricentennial. They were able to come. They did a handful of giveaways. They facilitated some of our raffles. It was really a great partnership all around. It was sort of one of our first main signature events in my time here. So we're hoping to continue that as a tradition moving forward. It was at Frothingham Hall. Yeah, so we really shut down the building. All the fitness classes got put on pause till the new year. And yeah, 50, and we had a pretty good wait list. But as you know, the building's a bit modest, so we were somewhat limited with how many folks we could entertain. Looking ahead, so we've already started our tax prep season. That'll be going on from Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's through a strategic partnership with AARP. We have a few tax preparers that come in. We take appointments. It's a free service offered to seniors in the community. This year, I believe we're on track to help a few hundred residents. We're currently on wait lists. I think we have 3 preppers on staff this year, which is 1 more than last year. And they'll be working out of Frothingham Hall through, I believe, April. It's a really great offering. We really appreciate AARP's help facilitating that. 2 programs we have on the horizon looking at March, in addition to all the fitness programming, the financial and veteran services we're offering. We do have a dementia-friendly presentation that will be coming out on the 5th of March. This will be in partnership with Old Colony Elder Services from 2 to 3 p.m., again on March 5th. Absolutely free, no charge to any seniors in town. It'll go over general information about symptoms of dementia, how you might be able to help loved ones that have dementia, supporting caregivers, and it ties into our continuing support group for folks that have loved ones that have dementia. It's one of the well-being oriented programs we have.
Could we get them here to make a presentation for us also? Is that possible?
I can. I'm not sure how long the presentation would run though. I can see if they would be willing to come.
Could you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even if it's abbreviated.
Yeah, the short version. Cliff notes.
See what I can do. The same week we'll have a series through partnership with Buzzards Bay Speech Therapy. They have a grant through the state where they'll come in and do brain building exercises for seniors. They'll focus on memory recall, word association, general tips and tricks for building your memory to help stave off aspects of dementia and aging, as well as the benefits of socialization with other seniors in the community. That program will also be free. We'll take some sign-ups that'll likely open middle of this month, so about 4 weeks for sign-ups. And that is all I have on the programming updates. Our fitness classes are going to be consistent. We've locked in instructors for this year, and we don't have any time off requests for them, so no cancellations on the horizon yet.
Going forward, for this meeting, will you bring in the coordinator copies of it? Because
Sure.
I usually pick it up when I come in. And are all of the fitness classes online?
Yep, the website is absolutely updated.
Now we go on to the volunteerism.
Yeah, so Jim, you had mentioned this to me shortly after we had the Tricentennial come and present. Jim had expressed some interest in the COA being involved in some of the activities the Tricentennial is offering this year. If you remember the presentation by the folks who stopped by, they had Family Fun Day coming up on April 19th. They had a pretty successful event. I think they had almost 2,500 people that attended their kickoff party at Stonehill.
I went to that. That was fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. We also have a few field day activities for families, community bonfire, fireworks, and then end of year gala among others, as well as the parade. Jim had the idea to potentially get the board involved in different activities, added it to the agenda to see if you all would like to brainstorm on ways you can get engaged.
At this point, I've sent an email twice to the thing that's on their flyer, mentioning the board of, the Council on Aging, and is there a way that we can help and, you know, get ourselves out there? I mean, we are the senior population in town, and, you know, some of the things I mentioned to them is just some of the events where they have ticket taking, we could be there taking the tickets for them. Or one of the outdoor things, have an information booth on what the Council on Aging does and so on. Unfortunately, I have not heard back from whoever is reading those emails. So I don't know if you have any connections that, and I don't know how anyone else feels about us getting involved in some of these things, just so we get the name of the Council on Aging out there, just so people know we're here. You know, let's face facts, a lot of what's done is done by the town. It's not really done by us. We have this meeting once a month and you do everything. So it might be something where we can get a little bit more out there. So the town knows that we want to be involved, and the town knows that we are here. You know, it's, so if anybody has any suggestions or comments or anything, I'm sure we're all ears.
Who's the person that you contacted?
It was just a basic thing on it where you could ask a question.
Okay.
So I clicked on that and I filled out my information, my name, my address, my email, my phone number, and in the comments section, I put the comments, pretty much what I said to you about is there a way we can help?
I may know someone, I don't know if he's on the committee, but Dave Clifton, who lives in town here, and he was the recreation director in Sharon, and I worked with him in Sharon. And his son lives in my condo complex. If he's in, I can ask Scott if his father's still involved.
Is he the one that came and did the presentation for the parade?
Yes.
Yeah, Dave is
He's
the
a neighbor
of the
of
chair.
mine.
He
He
lives
lives
in
across the
Later
street
or
from me.
something.
Just go knock.
So I can go
Yeah.
knock on his door.
Because I think when I bumped into him, God knows how long ago, I live in Friends Crossing, and he said he did the Sharon 250th or 200th or whatever year they were, and he said he was gonna do the Eastern one too, so that's why I thought,
He's the top guy, I think.
yeah,
I'm fine.
but he might light fire under whoever reads those things.
So nobody's really opposed to us trying to get it. Look, I'm not saying we're going to go there, and I put it in the thing. We are seniors. We're not going to go there and build stages for you.
No.
You know, by any means. But just being there and being helpful in other ways.
Sure.
Okay, so if anyone has, I've lived in town here for 23 years, and unfortunately, I've spent so much time traveling. I don't know anybody in town hardly, or anybody that's works with the town or anything like that. So I don't have any connections myself, except here, and that's why, you know, I'm asking for your ideas and your suggestions and your opinions.
I spoke with Dave at the cultural district brunch that they had the other day, and we had discussed doing potentially one of the COA buses, the Health and Community Services buses, and having the seniors participate in that as like a float for the 4th of July parade.
I was going to ask you about that
Yeah,
also.
he was very interested in getting the board involved. I don't know if he had maybe read the email prior to that, but the conversation sort of came about organically and he seemed interested. So that'd be very low effort. It'd be riding and waving and things
We
like that.
can dress up
I could
as
do
old
that.
people.
Well,
Yeah,
something
sure.
something I was thinking, and obviously we'd have to ask him, if we had something to pull a float,
Yeah.
and we could find like the oldest residents in town and be the patriarch and matriarch
Jim, that's
of the
a great
parade
idea,
and have
yeah.
them hauled. I mean, maybe not the oldest people in the
Isn't
town, but
this-
the people who've lived here the longest. If we have someone who was born here and is 100 years old and has lived here their whole life,
There you go.
you know, it put a little thing out, 100-year resident. I mean, it's,
Is it my imagination, or wasn't there like a cane that was given to the oldest person in town, or was that other places and not here?
I think it was pretty much every town.
Yeah,
had
I don't know
one.
if they still
Yeah.
do it, it was the Boston Post cane, I think.
Yeah.
And I
I
don't
have no idea what
if they
happened.
still even do it, it was started.
Because that would be
by
something
the
nice to
newspaper
resurrect, you
years
know?
ago.
Who would do
Historical
that?
Society would probably be the ones to
Yeah.
check with.
and we have to be careful also, if we do get someone to do that, I'm
Oh,
not gonna
no,
take
I-
somebody out of a nursing home. You
No,
know?
I
Well,
see.
that's true.
So it would have to be somebody who can climb up a couple of steps. Yeah,
Unless they want to.
if the family's good with it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do we have money to decorate a float? Do we have money to get something to be towed behind one of the buses?
Maybe.
Oh, do we? So do we have?
And is anyone creative enough to decorate a float?
Huh.
I mean, I can hit a hammer, I can nail something in, but I'm not the most decorative person in the world. My wife would argue with
I
that.
think we need to think about it. We could probably come up with,
I'm sure we can come up with something.
or it could even be something, something that the COA sponsors, like, make posters or,
Yeah.
you know, have a poster making.
Well, there is some art competition for, they're designing something or other, and it has to be by it has to do with the 300th celebration, and I don't remember the details, but I read it.
Maybe we could also ask the schools, you know, the art department to create a poster.
Is the-
Southeastern Regional.
Is the parade out before school's out?
No,
No, it's the
After.
4th of July.
It's, okay, it's the
It's
4th of
week
July.
after the 4th of July. The week after the 4th of July.
Week after. Maybe we could get the art department and Oliver Ames and the other one to get something ready for us. They get out of school, what, 2 weeks earlier? Maybe we can ask
Yeah,
them,
so much-
their art departments to get involved and help us
Is
out.
there a graphic arts? There must be. It's still in
At Southeastern areas, yeah. They
Yeah.
also have building things, they could help build, possibly.
yeah, but usually for those, you gotta go there like a year in advance to ask them to do that, cause they have to get the permission, the school committee has to approve it.
So
They gotta
maybe
go
just
Might not have
art.
to ask.
Yeah,
Right.
You know,
I do
they're
think
part
we
of
should
this
run it
thing.
by Dave though, let him know what we're talking about.
Yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
the parade committee would have to allow us to have a float.
Yeah.
Right,
And they would have to allow us to do what I suggested. I mean, we can't just show up that day and say, we're
exactly.
here. I used to run the Christmas parade in Stoughton 30 years ago, and believe me, the last thing you want is something out of the clear blue showing up saying, hello, I'm here. No, because the schedule's already set and everybody's already lined up and you know where you want everyone, and there's just too much going on to show up the last day.
Is the Council on Aging going to have some kind of a 300-year event, something specific?
No.
So,
We can though.
You're the chairman of
If the
that
board would like
committee.
to suggest it, we certainly can. So the New Year's Eve was sort of a kickoff into the 300th year, hence the partnership with the Tricentennial. As a non-government board, the Tricentennial is organizing all 300th programming. We're helping them by helping them collect money, but we're not necessarily stepping on their toes with programming. That being said, I think what might make sense is if I have Dave Clifton's email, I can connect him with you directly. Maybe if anybody else wants to volunteer, I can loop somebody in, and then we can have a conversation of ways the board can be involved. I don't necessarily want to infringe on what they've spent a ton of time working on since like this time last year. But yeah, I think we get involved.
Well, I think with the parade part, we would just need permission to bring in a
Yeah.
float. And then we would be on our own of how we would set it up. And could we get the matriarch and patriarch of the town to sit on and come with it? And so that would be my thoughts, is our end would be trying to figure out the float and how we would do it. I'm sure they would give us permission.
Yeah.
I mean, you run a parade, you want as much stuff as possible going down the road.
They want it to be a long parade too, from what I gathered. So.
They want a long one?
the 250th lasted a couple of hours.
That did?
They probably need to put us near the beginning because a lot of us nap.
You don't want it to be too hot too.
They don't want to be too hot
They'll
also.
have to have a
yeah.
bathroom.
You don't wanna be near the fire trucks.
We could have the porta potty and the thing right behind us.
Oh, this is sounding terrible.
I'll leave this out of the minutes.
Yeah.
Your days are coming.
Excellent.
Does anyone have an idea of what the Council on Aging could do to have some kind of a centennial event?
An open house, I know the hall isn't that big to do multiple programs at the same time, but just an open house maybe?
Here's a bad idea, because I wouldn't go to this, but Like a costume party where people have dress up in honor of someone over these years. I don't like costume parties myself.
I like Chris's idea of a walking stick. I think that would be a nice thing.
Well, that-
Make a presentation of it. And
Yeah. The other thing we could do is, we could have a contest to see, groups of people, adding up their ages closest to 300 or 300 exactly. I mean, that would be a hoot.
We could do a trivia night. Trivia having to do with maybe the history of the town.
That would work, but unfortunately, how long have you lived in Easton?
Since 1979.
Okay, so
And I moved in 2001, so.
how long have you lived in Easton?
I've been here since '55.
Yes, I know.
So, I mean, you get a lot of new people coming into town that don't even know the town history, never mind.
Well, it could be history over the last 300 years, some of it pertaining to U.S.
Yeah.
history, or the history of the state,
I mean,
or
it's probably easy enough to find what Easton did in the Revolutionary War and the Civil War.
you can bring
Probably
Ed
at
Hands
the
into
library,
this.
you know.
It's all about the history of the town.
Now I think we're treading into historical society.
Yeah.
I think we are too. Yeah. So I think an open house is a nice idea. Just come and meet and greet and have some coffee.
Kind of highlight the programs of the Council on Aging at the same time.
Got enough
Yes.
notes?
I got plenty of notes. I think we'll tangible outcomes. We'll talk to Dave and what they're already doing, how maybe they'll get involved in the parade. Excuse me, you and Dave, and if, does anybody want to volunteer to sort of be involved with the parade aspect?
Yeah, throw my name in.
Okay,
If you
so
want.
Matt, thank you, Matt. So Matt and Jim, I'll connect you guys with Dave. See how that goes, and then we'll figure out how we don't necessarily step on their toes with activities.
Dale Carrister seems to be
Okay, we
I don't
good,
know what his role
we
is.
good with that subject? Move on to a PACE overview?
Yeah, so a quick tally. Are folks up to date on what PACE is in town?
I don't
Okay.
know.
So I'll give the whole picture. Forgive me if you already know some of this info. So at town meeting in May of last year, the town voted to approve a special board of 15 total members, 4 alternates, that's comprised of town members, town staff, town board members, and then 4 alternates, as well as members from the school department. So as long as I've been here, Connor and town administration has been indicating that the state funding trends across Massachusetts, not just for our town, and what it implies for operating budgets. As you all know, the Prop 2.5 is the town itself, any town across Massachusetts can only increase your property taxes 2.5%. Easton's no exception. The town is looking at how they will be able to overcome stagnating, as I understand it, state funding to maintain operations across town. And the folks of PACE do a much better job of articulating it than I do. But I'd encourage everybody to take a look at the website and some of the past meetings. The board had a number of charges that they were given, comparing our community against other communities, examining town operations, where there might be opportunities for financial efficiencies, providing recommendations and a report to town meeting in May of this year. As well as they've done open houses, they've gone to the select board. The website that they have is really detailed. I don't want to speak to specific numbers because I'm not on the committee, but I know that they're looking at a pretty difficult financial outlook for the coming fiscal years as we exit fiscal year 25. So our fiscal year resets in July. The funding's approved at town meeting the May before it. So I imagine that there will be a lot of conversations around town.
What does PACE stand for?
Thank you, I was just gonna ask.
So for as every good government initiative, it's a great acronym. So something a sustainable Easton. That's a good question. Promoting a sustainable Easton is the P.
Is any of that funding federal or is it all state?
It's a good question. That's a bit above my pay grade. I know that the town has benefited from a number of federal grants. So you guys might be familiar with ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act. We benefited from towns across the country got a handful of millions of dollars as part of a pandemic relief fund. The town used it really wisely to pilot certain programs. So yeah, there's a number of federal sources. And I think a lot of like the funding from the state comes from federal allocations as well.
I was at a meeting last night where Craig Barger was speaking about this. There is a meeting on February 26th for PACE. They are encouraging as many people as possible to go. Apparently everybody in town is going to get a postcard.
Okay.
So if you get a postcard, please hold on to it. Unfortunately, Craig could not recall where and when the meeting was, except that it's on February 26th. And apparently there are lots of stakeholders involved, the municipal workers, as you said, the school workers. Apparently right now Easton does not have a balanced budget. It is in debt many millions of dollars beyond what it has ever been before. So it's really quite a difficult place for Easton to be in right now.
26.
Yeah,
It's
so
Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it is Wednesday.
So be on the lookout for that notice. That card will go to every single house. It's an opportunity to learn about how the monies in town are being allocated, and there are going to need to be changes made.
It's gonna be like a town meeting?
It's not a town meeting,
Informational meeting.
an informational meeting based on, there was another meeting, Craig said. You all know Craig Barger, he's on the board, he's a select person, am I right?
Yes.
On the select board. There was another meeting, I think, I wanna say in January, and he said like 75 people came.
Mhm.
It was very well attended, but we need to get as many people as possible. Something that I'm actually worried about that at another meeting was brought to my attention by Dottie Fulgenetti, that there's a lot of concern about the schools and of course the funding and the amount of salary, particularly for paraprofessionals and all kinds of things. And what I'm concerned about is they not soon will probably go to the town looking for more funding. As we're seeing across the state, there doesn't seem to be the money to, not that anyone, well, I suppose some people would object, but folks may want to support the schools, but given that there's such a deficit, and I worry about the potential, no one said this is just coming from me, the potential of there being a strike like there has been
I've thought that.
in many other towns. That's just my fantasy. No, I have not heard that anywhere, but it seems like a natural progression, right? So February 26th, place and time.
Yeah, it's not.
We'll share a card.
I just checked the town website. It's not posted yet, so maybe they don't have a formal location. But that's good I appreciate you sharing that. So, yeah, this certainly is not top secret or any sort of information that's trying to be only shared with certain individuals. The town's obviously trying to communicate this. I think the last time I spoke with somebody about it, there's a number of factors, including, as we've all seen, like your property insurance, your auto insurance has gone up for apparently no real good reason. The benefits.
There's good reasons.
It's
We're
not-
paying
not
to
good you
fix
and
the
I.
rest of the country.
Yeah, not good to you and I.
All the disasters are happening in other places.
So a number of the benefits and the things the town has to pay around, it's not just you and your household's bills, it's the town's bills too. So nobody's exempt from it. I know Natick already is looking at a similar issue. I think they have a deficit that's double ours. Arlington, I believe Brookline and Newton are also in similar stages. I think last year another town announced a deficit that's in our area. I think it might have been Sharon or Stoughton. I might be misquoting that, but it's creeping up on pretty much every town in Massachusetts at this point, and Easton.
And I please don't quote me, but I think Craig said it was in the vicinity of $6 million. There is not a balanced budget.
Yeah, it could be.
I wonder if the COA win the information about the when and the where on the 26th, if that could be posted,
Sure.
maybe even bigger than a card. And I don't know if it's too late, if there's time for there to be transportation for those who want to go. I don't know about that.
We did provide transportation in January, so we probably could accommodate that.
And I don't know how to advertise that, but
I'll leave that to me.
that's great.
So, thank you for listening to that. I encourage everybody to take a look at the website. If you Google Easton, PASE, it'll take you. In a Google search, you'll be directed right to the website. There's a number of documents. There's examples of presentations. There's videos if you're more of a visual person than reading through it. Just want to make you all aware.
Do you know when the next town meeting is? Probably in the spring.
I want to say it's May 21st, but let me double check my calendar. It would be probably, it's usually the third Monday of May, so I'd imagine it's going to be the 19th. If the agenda is large, though,
May
I think
19th?
I think they add another week. There'll be a number of announcements that too, and we'll provide transportation. That's my best guess. It's usually the third Monday of May.
Something else I learned last night, that the municipal building is going forward really nicely. They had a huge number of people bidding for different parts of it, general contractors as well as plumbing, electrician, and it's coming in, the quotes are coming in under what was predicted, so that's really good.
That's excellent news.
Next. We need a motion to accept all this?
It's up to you, you're chair.
Motion to accept what's happened so far?
The minutes from November should be attached to the back of the packet.
Is Gina okay?
Yeah, she's doing well.
Okay.
I should have gone to that memory training. Whereas I showed up on Tuesday last time for the meeting. But they didn't have a quorum anyway, so. Thank you. Motion to accept the minutes from November.
Seconded.
When is the next meeting here?
3rd of March.
Oh, it says it right here.
That's our meeting? Is that
Yep.
what you're talking about?
Is everybody in favor of accepting the minutes? Any opposed? Abstain, probably one abstained.
Okay, so are we done?
The only notes I have are Frothingham will be closed on President's Day. We already noted it in the coordinator. Any member notes? No? Do we like the venue?
Yeah,
Keep the venue. All right, excellent. Why not?
So we're done?
nope. Get member notes.
Member notes.
I'd like to introduce myself to the new member. Some of us did, some of us didn't. I'm Matt.
Hi.
I'm Donna.
Hi.
What's your name?
Nancy. Nancy
Nancy.
Warner.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm Marjorie.
Okay.
And Jimmy.
And Jim and Joe and Chris. Okay, thank you.
Is your husband a teacher in Easton?
No, he
No?
wasn't.
Okay. I just remember a teacher by that name.
No, I moved here from Sharon.
Okay.
So.
But he still could have taught in Easton.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He was a contractor in
All
Sharon.
right. Also under member notes, we had talked a little bit earlier about the Lions used to put on the senior cookout, which they didn't do this year. I'd like to approach them to see if we can work with them and the group that does the different programming up at the senior housing, to see if we could do like a cookout there. During the day, good weather, they usually provide music, so we could have music, we could have information up there, and, possibly, I know the Lions have a new iMobile that they would like to show off, so they might be able to bring that up there. And I just wanted to, see if anybody would object to that if I try, if I step forward and.
Is that like an afternoon thing, a couple
Yeah.
hours?
Yeah,
So
they
have
used to
entertainment,
do the
get there.
Yeah, there used to be a cookout, and then they went to a catered meal because they took the kitchen out at the the hall. And last year, the caterer, I won't mention any names, but the food was really dry, the chicken, and it took 2 bottles of water to eat a small piece of chicken because it was so dry. But I figured with a cookout, hamburgers and hot dogs, you really can't butcher that too badly. So I just, I wanna.
How many people are there? Approximately.
I'd say about 50. And a lot of them come from the housing anyway, so if we had it there, we might get more.
And just need a couple people to bring a couple grills.
Well, if the Lions did it, I know that they have a very large grill that they use at the holiday festival. So I just wanted to, see if it would be.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I would support your doing that.
Yeah, you have connections with the Lions too, correct?
Yeah, some of them still like me.
They all still.
No, they don't. There's a few that don't. I'm in West Bridgewater
I
now.
don't know, where are they moving to? Didn't they sell the building?
Yeah, they did. They ended up going. They ended up going back up to the VFW after they had a big stink and
Down on
didn't want to
Allen?
pay. They didn't want to pay the extra that the VFW was looking for, so they were going to go down the track and meet down in Rainham. That place got closed down and torn down. And then they went and they met for a few years at the KFC, and KFC sold the building, and now they had to go back up to the VFW.
I'll work on that with you with
Yeah,
the Lions
okay.
if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody's okay with
Yeah.
us,
Let me
Getting
make a
involved
few
with
phone
it.
calls and approach a few
I'm more than
people.
willing to help. I'm
Yeah.
more than willing to help cook,
Yeah, I'll get the Lions to do that.
and I'm more than willing to help eat.
Yes. But, just, it was a good get together, and it just kind of, it had been going on for 25 years.
But this would be co-sponsor, Council on Aging and the Lions
Well,
Club.
if the Lions don't want to handle the whole damn thing, let them
They've done it
handle the
in
whole
the
damn
past.
thing. We just will make the arrangements. We'll give them credit.
My understanding is the group is getting smaller and smaller, and there's. But if they can do that, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you still got over 100 members, so they were up to 180 something at one time. Most clubs were happy to have 20 or 25 members, and Easton had 180, and for the secretary for that group, it was not fun. You would add members, 30 members, and you'd take away 25, and I had to handle all of that on the paperwork, so I didn't appreciate that. All right, that's all I had.
Motion to accept everything, so.
5, and I had to handle all of that on the paperwork, so I didn't appreciate. All right, that's